Greetings, math fans. All right, what we're going to do today is we're going to create trig equations. Okay, so I'm going to give you information about the trig equation, and you're just going to come up with the equation. So let's actually just start out with some information here. I'm going to tell you it's a sine graph. I'm going to tell you the amplitude equals 4. I'm going to tell you the period is equal to pi. I'm going to tell you the phase shift is equal to pi over 2, and the vertical shift is equal to -7. Okay, well, this is actually pretty easy to start out. You know it's going to look like this: y equals -7 plus 4. And I know right away you're saying, well, wait a second, how do you know if it's plus 4 or minus 4? Well, actually, it doesn't matter. All right, it really doesn't matter if you give me plus 4, or if you give me minus 4, or if you give me plus or minus 4, that's fine. All right, it's just, of course, if I give you the equation, I ask you for the amplitude, make sure you give me a positive value. All right, and then it's sine of blank. Well, this is actually the hard part. Okay, but it really isn't that hard. And if you guys remember, that blank, the goal, or what you have here is it's between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so this is our goal. Our goal is to get it between 0 and 2 pi, because once you do that, we, just like we did back in the day, we take that and we put that in that blank. Okay, so what I do is I need to actually figure out some information about that blank. Now, first of all, do you guys remember back in the day when we actually did solve things, the compound inequality, the phase shift, didn't it go on the left-hand side after we actually did solve it? So isn't it pi over 2 on the left-hand side? And do you guys agree that in order to get the period, do we always do the right side minus the left side? Right, and they gave us the period. So if I'm giving you the left side, don't I add to get this value right here? Don't I add the period? If I add the period, I should get that right side. And sure enough, pi over 2 plus pi is 3 pi over 2. So it's 3 pi over 2 is on that side. So that's the setup here. Okay, because this is kind of what we would end up with after we solve for x, right? You'd say, oh, the left-hand side, okay, that's your phase shift, and your period is 3 pi over 2 minus pi over 2 is pi over 2, or is pi. Okay. Well, now again we had to go in reverse. So the first thing we did again is we put this value in here, the pi over 2, which is our phase shift, and then we added the period to get this value. Now remember what I said. This is our goal right here. Our goal is to get between 0 and 2 pi. Now this is the deal. Let me write this out kind of nicer again. Pi over 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3 pi over 2. We need to get 0 here, and we need to get 2 pi. Well, my first step here, math fans. So step number 1 is to get the left equal to 0. Now you could multiply, but what we're going to do is, obviously it doesn't make sense to multiply. We're going to subtract pi over 2. So we're going to subtract pi over 2 from all sides. That's going to give you 0 less than or equal to x minus pi over 2 less than or equal to pi. Okay, so that's our first step. Step 2 is to get the right equal to 2 pi. Well, we're going to multiply this whole thing by 2. Now notice we're doing step 2 second, and the reason is because if we would try to, if we would make it 2 for the first step, we need this, let me highlight this, we need this to be 0 right away. Because then when I go to multiply, it doesn't matter what I multiply it by, it always stays a 0. Okay, so don't do it in the reverse. Don't try to make that right side 2 pi first, because what's going to happen is that left side is not going to be 0, and it's not going to work out for you. All right, so we got to follow those steps just the way I have it. Okay, so we multiply that by 2, we get 0 less than or equal to 2 parentheses x minus pi over 2 less than or equal to 2 pi. Guys, that's our goal, was to get it between 0 and 2 pi. So now that value right here, math fans, that goes right there. So 2 parentheses x minus pi over 2. Okay, and that is our answer to this problem. Alright, so kind of complicated, but not really. Alright, let's just try a couple more here. I'm going to give you, I want you to make a cosine graph. I want you to do the amplitude is 6. The vertical shift is negative 17. The period is pi over 2. And the phase shift is equal to negative pi. Okay, so let's start out. Y equals negative 17 plus 6 times cosine of something. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is the left side is negative pi, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to, right, it's negative pi plus the period. That gives you the other side, so it's negative pi over 2. Okay, our first step is to get that left side equal to 0. So I'm going to add pi to all sides. I get 0 less than or equal to x plus pi, less than or equal to pi over 2. Okay, our next goal is to get that pi over 2 to be 2 pi. So I'm going to multiply it by 4 pi, or 4, right? That give me 2 pi. Okay, so I get 0 less than or equal to 4 parentheses x plus pi less than or equal to 2 pi. That's our goal. And so that's our blank. So it's 4 parentheses x plus pi. Okay, and then that's our answer. Not too bad, right? Okay, let's try one more here. Our amplitude. Well, let's see, let's do a sine graph here. Amplitude is 105. Ooh, 105, very scary. Vertical shift is negative 13. The period is, we'll say, we'll do some little fraction action here, because I think, just to scare you guys just a little bit, 4 pi over 3. The phase shift is, we'll say 3 pi over 2. Okay, so let's graph this baby. Y is equal to negative 13 plus 105 sine of blah. So let's start out. Phase shift is 3 pi over 2. That goes on the left hand side. Less than or equal to x, less than or equal to. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick here, because I know what's going to happen is we got to add 4 pi over 3 to 3 pi over 2. But watch this. If I do 4 pi over 3, and do you guys agree I just add the phase shift? So it's plus 3 pi over 2. Let's just keep it that way. Okay? Because what do I have to do next anyway? Do I have to subtract 3 pi over 2? So why combine these when I'm just going to subtract 3 pi over 2 anyway? So if I subtract that, 3 pi over 2 from all sides, I get 0 less than or equal to x minus 3 pi over 2 less than or equal to 4 pi over 3. And now this is the deal. I need to get this to be 2 pi on this side here. So my suggestion to you is, let's get rid of the 4 first. So put a 4 on the bottom, and then how do you get that? It's basically double that, right? So 3 times 2 is 6. So if you do that, just to show you, that's a 1, and that's a 1, and that's a 2. So you get 2 pi. So you get 0 less than or equal to 6 fourths, which is really 3 halves. times x minus 3 pi over 2 less than or equal to 2 pi. So there we go. 3 halves x minus 3 pi over 2, and there's your answer. Okay? It's not too bad, right? One more. And you don't have to watch this whole thing. If you understand it, you're good to go. Okay? But I'm just going to do one more for you guys. I want you to do a graph, a cosine graph. I want you to do an amplitude of 16, the vertical shift of 9 period is equal to 17 pi over 6, and the phase shift equals 7 pi over 5. Brutal. Not really. Okay, y is equal to 9 plus 16 cosine of blah. Yeah, okay, that's pretty easy. Phase shift is 7 pi over 5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to, remember you add those together, so 7 pi over 5 plus 17 pi over 6. Okay, first thing I'm going to subtract 7 pi over 5 from all sides, and I get 0 less than or equal to x minus 7 pi over 5 less than or equal to 17 pi over 6. Okay, and then I have to get this to be 2 pi, so I'm going to get rid of the 17 right away and multiply that by 12. Alright, so that's pretty easy, right? 0 less than or equal to 12 17ths x minus 7 pi over 5 less than or equal to 2 pi. So 12 17ths x minus 7 pi over 5. Okay, there you go. That's it, math fans. So, just be careful. The hardest part really is this guy right here. And again, if you kind of go this route right here, you don't even have to combine fractions. There's no need to. All right? That's it, math fans. You have a great day. Adios. Goodbye.